they're protecting you better. They take the whole neighborhood.
And saying,
Yeah.
My dogs visit everybody in our neighborhood.
Yeah. That's why I love that territory. But it can be hard.
Well, I had to put shock collars on them to keep them out of the jail and away from the boys and girls.
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Most kind, gracious Father, Lord, we thank you for this day and all your many blessings of life, Lord. Pray that you'll be with this body of commissioners as they get ready to take on the task at hand. And God, that you just continue to bless each and every one of them in their districts and within our county itself, Lord. Be with our nation. God, be with Steve as he's recovering from surgery, and each and every one, God, that desires thoughts and prayers. I pray that you'll be with them. First in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, that I pray. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's just go.
roll call.
Keith Barker.
Here.
Shane Bowman. Greg Brooks.
Here.
Benny Carver. Here. Debbie Davis.
Here.
Mush Davis.
Here.
Chrissy Harden. Here. Kelly Morgan. Here. John Pippinger.
Here.
Samantha Franklin. Here.
Before we get started on the agenda, I'm going to move item number 6 down to the end of the agenda. Okay, approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Barker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
Yes.
Chrissy Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Franklin.
Yes.
Approval of reports of office.
Motion to approve?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Barker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
Yes.
Chrissy Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan. Yes. John Pippinger.
Yes.
And Samantha Franklin.
Yes.
Approval of notaries, we have 2, Donna Baggett and Cheryl Gregory.
Motion to approve?
Who's second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Barker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
Yes.
Christy Harden. Yes. Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Franklin.
Yes.
Budget amendments, in 101, we have 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. We'll do all these together, I'll read them, and if we need to separate one, let me know. In 101, number 34 is to purchase 3 imaging units for office printers for a total of $264.54. Number 35 is for year-end cleanups for a total of $42,276.32. Number 36 is to cover overage for a total of $9,000. Number 37 is to transfer funds from a restricted for Chancery Court account to data processing equipment account for purchase of a new laptop. That's for a total of $700. Number 38 is to cover legal fees charged to the Sheriff's Department pertaining to policy revision review. Funds are within the Sheriff's budget, moving from in-service training line to legal fee line. Copy of the invoice is attached for commissioners to review for a total of $4,100. And number 39 is to apply donation funds received for library to expenditure funds for items and grant matches, and to cover mileage reimbursement for maintenance employee for a total of $10,794. So that's 34 through 39 and 101.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker. Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
David Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Budget amendments for Polk County School Board, there are none. Packets for meetings, Commissioner Samantha Trent.
I guess we were just gonna see if everybody got their digital packet, so that way we can start sending it digital and then get our copies here. Did everybody get their copies when we
Yes.
sent it out?
I
Could
did.
y'all read them pretty good? Cause John Hoyt sent it, so I mean, that would save us some money on postage.
I think that's like perfect because
Yeah.
there's nothing in the packets anyways, and that's wasted money.
Mhm.
So,
And we
So
just
you
get our
still want
copies
me
here.
to bring the copies here? Did you?
You would need to bring one copy, one
Yeah.
paper copy at least.
For Greg.
I don't think there's any way
For
around
Greg.
that. I wasn't gonna say
You can
that.
text it all,
I
mate.
can text it to you. I
Yeah.
can send you a picture
Text
of it.
budget amendment.
I don't have no way of
Well, I think if
printing
you
them off.
need to bring a
Read
couple
it.
in case somebody don't
Yeah.
have, but
Yeah.
I think the majority of us
Okay.
can print them.
Okay, that-
Maybe
that's
this,
perfect
maybe
for me.
this paper so we can take notes like I write on it all the time. That way I can keep up with it.
Scratch paper.
Yeah.
No, I think that'd be great because it is, those packets are getting expensive, especially when they weigh
Yeah,
quite
$10.
a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'm good with the, where we can write
Just
on
the
it.
agenda.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bringing the agenda.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I'll bring several copies of what we have. So you can, yeah, don't have to. Okay.
Okay, resolution, regulation of nuisances and other practices, Commissioner Samantha Trent.
And this is what Mr. Logan and Chandler's here for, so.
I think there might be some questions from
Yeah.
commissioners on this, if you've had a chance to read over this. Does anybody have any questions about this resolution?
This is on the Powers Act, correct?
Yes,
It takes 2/3 to adopt it and then 2/3 to adopt anything underneath
yes,
that comes from.
yes.
So I got a question.
Okay.
So, who is, let's say it passes and we're gonna go with this, who's responsible for monitoring any of this?
So the county will enforce any resolutions that it passes under this. So that would be, would it be in a resolution, and I think Jimmy could speak about this, I believe that, would it be in a county resolution that local law enforcement, if it's, for example, something dealing with a business practice that y'all want to prohibit in an unincorporated part of the county, that I think local law enforcement would enforce it. And then if need be, we could actually bring suit in court to obtain an injunction to try to prohibit certain activities if you passed a resolution.
So I'm just like, looking at it, to me, I would think that, are we gonna have to do zoning?
No,
Because
so that's the.
That's my biggest
So that's
issue.
this right here is a different part of the code. The zoning board, that would be an entirely different part of the code. That's something that we have avoided by doing this. This is not zoning at all.
Okay, because I was like,
It's
we
not
do that.
So this is not going to be to where people are gonna start calling us and saying, my neighbor has got loud music.
No,
Okay.
no, because you have to pass you'd have to pass a resolution that would, it would have to deal with a specific issue.
Okay.
But that is under the Powers Act, what she's talking about.
You would be given the power to
To do
pass
that.
a resolution
Right.
that would cover the
Right.
unincorporated parts of the county.
Yes. So noise, chickens, anything that bothered your neighbor.
But it has to be something that y'all pass, that's the
You
thing.
have to
Just
pass
because
it.
you pass this act doesn't mean that all of a sudden somebody, chicken's too loud. You
Yeah.
can't call the county and say, hey, these chickens are too loud. Okay, well, what's the basis for it? We don't
Yeah.
have a law.
Cause I don't wanna get into none of that.
Yeah.
None.
One of the considerations we developed a few weeks ago, maybe even months now, is the issue regarding crypto. And that's a very significant issue. The operation or utilization of substantial power usage next to your neighbor, and some of the things that we would like to absolutely protect against is we don't have that authority under the specific statute or resolution which we passed. You have, I know some of you have talked to us about, we want to prevent excessive noise
From the crypto
from
mine.
crypto mining.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are aware that there are people who are looking at bringing in, buying some of the properties here and developing crypto mining as a major activity in this community. Many of you, I've talked to many of you about this in the past. And that is something that we now, if we had this, we would be able to propose what has happened in North Carolina, some in Georgia, some in actually Utah, and some of the other states have begun to develop protections against noise violations resulting from mining and power usage as well. So that's something that we haven't prepared for, but this would give us an opportunity to do what many of you have talked to us about in the past.
The county power, and then what he's saying, it's hitting the nail on the head. The County Powers Act gives the county the authority to pass such a resolution to regulate crypto mining. Because in the absence of the County Powers Act, you don't have any legal authority to regulate that. And this is something you'll see, I mean, this is explicitly provided by the Tennessee Code. This is something that the General Assembly wanted to give the option to counties throughout Tennessee. If they want to pass this, they can, and then they can regulate as it provides.
But anything that we pass under this has got to be 2/3 majority?
Yes,
2/3.
that's correct.
And we have to have a resolution for it, so we can't just come in here and say, well, this is what we're doing. We all have to agree on it, go back going forward.
About 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
Well, all this language under section 1, define, prohibit, debate, and all that,
That,
is that part of the NCA code?
yes, that's the language right there is directly taken from the Tennessee Code.
Sound like it got out of real China.
That's in Title VI of the Tennessee Code. It's got the citations for
Red
it. It's
China.
Title VI.
I can't hear him.
Red China.
I mean, that's a lot of doings.
No, it's a very broad act. It gives counties a lot of power, but once again, they actually have to use it. It takes a 2/3 vote to pass any resolution with this act. But it's just so broad.
Sounds like it could be dangerous.
Well, it could be, then you come back to home, look at all else for somebody else.
That's just my.
Look down the road, when
I
commission
feel it's
change,
more dangerous, you know, if you got the wrong people.
change hands, get certain people who wanna do this or that, that can give them the authority to do that.
This commission may not agree on a vote, next commission might, on the same vote.
Yes.
I mean, it's,
When is that?
you know.
What is that noise?
it's one of the things. I'm sorry. Not my good job.
What was he saying about dangerous?
What Dan was,
Yeah. Hey, Dan,
Hey,
I couldn't hear anything you said, so what were you
I
talking
see,
about?
this, I'm sorry, I was talking to him, shirt collar. This language under section 1, you know, that's a broad, that's a lot of, that's a lot of power. You know, if you just look at each word, you know, define. I mean, it's saying like define, what does that mean? That means you can tell someone what they can name their business, what they can name their place? or something,
The actual issue is this grants to you certain powers which you may decide that you need, like the specifics of the crypto mining
Yeah.
and the utilization of the noise and the other things. Now, nobody has to do anything, but this now gives you the opportunity to do something. But it's still the 2/3 vote with any specific activity that you say, yes, we're going to use the County Powers Act to do that particular thing. And the only reason that we need that power, or you need that power, your decision maker utilize that power to do some of the things that we know are potential. Some people think that they're already beginning to be made in crypto. So it's just a way to do something about something that you decide to.
I understand the intent of it, but
Is this the only way to stop that?
Yes. This is it, because the county commission passed a resolution that didn't have a legal basis such as this, it wouldn't be enforced, it couldn't be enforceable.
Do we have to do this broad?
And well, because you're enacting that, that's how that,
That's how it's set.
so that's how the Title V, which governs counties under the Tennessee Code, and it's cited in here, it's 5.1.118, it actually has this specific provision where it says counties can enact the regulations that are allowed for cities, and they can utilize that power in unincorporated parts of the county. You can't regulate cities at all. It's unincorporated.
What we're gonna do is table this for a month and have a building.
Now that we kind of know.
Okay.
Get a little better understanding.
And we'll have a building and grounds committee meeting and discuss it further in that.
Yeah.
And see what the committee recommends from there. But we'll table this to next.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, mom and pop. Yeah, okay, if it's like a mom and pop.
Hours of sale, recommendation from beer board, John Fisher.
Right now, if you go to Benton City on Sunday, you can buy beer at 10 a.m. Right now, if you go out in the county, you can buy LBD at 11 a.m. You can buy wine at 10 a.m. Retail package liquor in the city at 9 a.m. LBD's quit selling at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm not sure about retail package. I think wine stopped selling at 9 p.m. Our beer laws are different from the cities on the start time and the end times on Sunday. They're different than our liquor laws altogether. The recommendation from the beer board was Sunday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. the following day. This would change it from 1 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Sunday and 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Monday through Saturday. It gives it the same cutoff time each night as the LBDs. And it keeps the same start time as the county's always had for beer. And that is the recommendation. The recommendation motion was made by Mike Kerbo, seconded by Jacob Enriquez, and all members of the board voted yes. And that's all members were present at that meeting to recommend to the commission the change. We've had several businesses through the last few years wanted a earlier sale on Sunday. We've added one more business who says they're losing anywhere from $400 to $600 on Sunday right now by not being able to sell at the same time that they can sell wine. It'll be more tax money, and it keeps it a little simpler on what time you can sell what. And it's up to y'all. I will have to abstain from this vote, being on the beer board.
But this is the beer board recommendation.
It is the beer board recommendation. The motion was by Mike Kerbo, seconded by Jacob Enriquez. Roll call was Kerbo, yes, Enriquez, yes, Randy Collins, yes, and Pippinger, yes.
Can, John Hoyt just have a perceived conflict of interest and go ahead and vote?
I've got to operate under what the commission votes on this one. Whatever y'all vote on, I have to operate under when I go to vote on every beer permit. I done checked with CTAS on that one a while back.
Well, obviously you for it, you voted for it on the beer board.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get out of it. I voted for it.
I know, I was messing with you.
And the recommendation, I'll be honest with you, I wrote the Sunday beer sales several years back, presented to the commission. We didn't have any beer sales on Sunday.
Well, another thing I see happening is, I see it all the time. You know, people, they're leaving the county before legal beer hours on Sunday. And when they do, they're buying their gas and their cigarettes and their bread and their ice and, you know, everything while they're out of county. And, I've been, it's kind of comical in a way. I've been in some stores I take care of on Sunday. And if you go in there Sunday, about 10:30 or 11 and stand there 30 minutes, you'll see one of them take a cussing.
Yeah.
I mean, a bag.
You do.
You know, people carry beer up the counter and have to put it back. And, I mean, it's an everyday occurrence on Sundays when you go in.
But let me follow up real quick. When I presented the Sunday beer sales, we had a crowd that night, without a doubt. In opposition, the county did not sell beer. I presented it. We did, at that time, set the hours 1 p.m. on Sunday. And that gave people going to church and coming out of church a little time to get to the gas station and all, and get out there before the beer sales started.
Or get the beer.
Right. At the same time, since then, the county by referendum has passed liquor by the drink, LBD, retail package, and wine and grocery stores, which have the hours set by the state, not us. And they're all before the 1 p.m. on Sunday. You've got places right now that they have to quit selling beer at 1, but they can keep on selling liquor till 3.
This moves it up to what time? I couldn't hear him.
6 a.m. to 3 a.m. the next morning, Sunday through Saturday.
Just like every other day of the week.
Yeah, but it moves it from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. on the close time. So it'd be the same as LBD's, liquor by the drink.
I'm always past that point.
Well, my theory's always been, if you're gonna buy it, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
And it's just, you know, whether I'm for it, whether I'm against it, it's just knocking the county out of money.
And it's,
I mean,
it's still gonna get drunk here, whether if they
Yeah.
go somewhere and get it,
Right.
bring it back
They're
here.
gonna come back, our law enforcement's gonna have to deal with
Yeah,
it. you
and we're
know.
just losing tax revenue.
Yeah.
They're gonna take it to the dump.
Yep.
So. Double it if they open
I'm
it
through
Sunday.
presenting.
Yeah, we'll have to change the dump.
We'll have to change the dump hours.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve this.
Second.
Any other discussion?
You'd go to church on Sundays, you would know all that.
I went.
Roll call.
Keith Parker?
Yes.
Greg Brooks?
Yes.
Danny Carver?
Yes.
Davey Davis?
Yes.
Mush Davis?
Yes.
Christie Harden?
Yes.
Kelly Morgan? Samantha Trent?
Yes.
When does this take effect, John? Hoyt?
It'll take effect in 10 days.
In the morning.
Before
I
we,
know they'll all be asking.
before we move on, do we need to read this resolution?
Yeah, actually.
All right, resolution to extend the hours or days of operation for establishments selling beer and whereas Tennessee Code annotated section 575301 authorizes county legislative bodies to extend the hours and days for the sale of beer within their jurisdiction, and whereas it is both the duty and necessity of the governing body of the county of Polk to find, institute, and utilize all revenue sources lawful for funding operations in said county. Now therefore be it resolved by the county legislative body of Polk County meeting in irregular session at the Polk County Courthouse in Benton, Tennessee on Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, that Section 1, an extended time as set forth in this section of operation for establishments licensed to sell beer in Polk County is hereby amended as follows. Beer may be sold in properly licensed establishments in Polk County on the following days and hours. Monday through Sunday shall be from 6 o'clock a.m. until 3 o'clock a.m. of the following morning. All other state and federal local regulations on operation shall apply to and not be affected by the passage of this resolution, including but not limited to no alcoholic beverage being consumed or open for consumption on or about any licensed premises in either bottle, glass, or other container more than 15 minutes past the time of sale listed above for the corresponding day. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect upon being adopted by a simple majority of the county legislative body of Polk County. Public welfare required.
Mr. Chairman, I'll add two things if you're all right with it. The 10 days, it will become effective on passage and when the county executive signs it within that 10-day period. If he signs it tomorrow, then it'll be effective tomorrow. But, you know, and that's just the way the code reads. And the second thing, just for notation, had I been able to vote on this one, I would have voted yes.
Cooks and Creek Road, Commissioner David Davis.
Okay, the road committee went down to Cookson Creek Road here a few weeks ago. Greg had brought it up to the attention. The locals are already complaining about it. Roy Jean met with us down there. The Forest Service has been hauling gravel, correct, Greg, to their roads. And bunches. They've literally destroyed this road. And it was probably one of the best roads in the county.
But one of the best roads we had in the county, for sure.
It's breaking off, it's busting, it's cracking. It's not good. So, Mr. Logan was here that night when Greg, when you first brought it up. And he said, I think you told us then, that we kind of had an option of going after them for some immediate funds that they kind of keep in a nest egg. Or if you don't do that, it's like a 5-year payout program or whatever. Well, this road ain't gonna last no 5 years.
I think Mr. Mobbs, I apologize for interrupting you.
Yeah, no.
Mr. Mobbs can articulate the position very well. And I don't mean to call upon you because I have authority.
Well, I live off the road, so that's the reason I'm here, not because I'm a semi-retired attorney. But when Harold Hood paved that the last time, which I believe was at the end of his administration, just before Mr. Thomason became the commissioner, Harold told me it cost $100,000 a mile, roughly, to do it. And it's 2 miles and 3/10 from 64 Highway to Copeland Road, where you turn off to go to my house, to go on into where the Forest Service takes over. I think it's about 4 miles altogether, roughly. I don't know, I'm not measuring it.
I'd say you're close.
But if he was right, if it was $100,000 a mile, and it's a lot more than that now to pave a mile of asphalt, looking at $400,000. Well, if one of our contractors goes into Forest Service to cut wood, they have to make a bond to protect the Forest Service if they tear up their roads.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the Forest Service hiring private trucking companies to bring this stuff in. It's the trucking companies that are tearing up the road because they're hired by the Forest Service. So there's questions here about, excuse me for being a lawyer, there's questions here about jurisdiction. All I know is, I agree with you, Commissioner Davis, the road's not going to last long. And I don't know whether there's any contact between Forest Service representatives and the leaders of the county, but I'm of the opinion that the work should be stopped until there's a bond in place, and absent that, trucks should not be carrying 70,000 pounds of gravel a day. Ben Milan told me one day he counted 100 trucks went past his place in one day.
Well, that's
These are
200 on the way
These are
back
tandem trucks. That's 70,000 pounds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of curves, and you can see it's not just the cracks. It's not just the edges. You can see it's like somebody took a great big sledgehammer and keeps beating on it. So it's not a question of repaving it. It may become a question of the base is going to have to be worked on if they keep it up. Now, I don't know if the county knows, have they finished hauling the gravel? Is the job done?
They got that first project done, but they got 2 more projects coming up. They got that one particular road done that they was working on,
Yeah.
but they got 2 more they're gonna work on.
Have they estimated how much, have they told you how much they estimate how much gravel it's going to take, Commissioner?
No, they just told us, the one I talked to said that one job was done, and they got 2 more that the bid's been let on, and the completion date is in November, I think.
Okay.
So
Well-
it's coming between now and November.
Well, it seems to me the options that you have before you, the people should not have this really, really good road. I mean, he just striped it.
Yeah.
And it was paved really, really well. It's not very old. 4 miles, really good. It's the main artery in the whole valley. Okay. So here's the question. If you're dealing with the Forest Service, you have to use the federal courts if it gets to litigation. But if you get an injunction against the trucking companies that the federal Forest Service hires to take it in there, and it's the private trucking companies that are tearing up the road, you might be able to do something with regard to litigation in the state courts. So you got jurisdictional problems.
Since it's a county road, we should be able to do something here, shouldn't we?
Well, that's what I suggested to Roy Thomas and talk to you all about. But it seems to me that the contractors that the Forest Service hires probably have insurance, and that insurance ought to be looked at in terms to indemnify the Forest Service if the Forest Service has to pay the county. But you got to look at Jim and his firm here can lay this all out for you. But I would stop them from doing it if I could until a bond was in place to cover the cost of repairing the road once that is determined with a reasonable degree of certainty. And what I say is a reasonable degree of certainty, I think is probably right now around $500,000.
Yeah, no doubt.
Was anybody opposed to having Jim and Chandler proceed with an injunction?
Let me just say,
Try to get one.
we've been there before, at various parts of the state of Tennessee, where we've had these kinds of issues. And we've been able to, in most instances, go to the Forest Service Administration and get them to change either what was going on and repair the problems that they've been involved in. And the Forest Service has tremendous power administratively. It is true, Denny's absolutely, as he almost always is, correct, that if you filed a suit against the trucking company, you can proceed here to do that. I tell you who's going to have the power. It's going to be Forestry Service telling them what they've got to do, and I'm not sure. Has anybody had any communication with the Forestry Service?
Well, Roy Jean, I thought was gonna be here tonight. I think that he has talked to someone
Well, we were able
once
to do
because,
that
yeah.
once before.
And he said he has all of his documentation, you know, down, ready to kind of move forward with something.
Commissioner, excuse me for intervening here. I think he's got the accounting, the cost, et cetera, and the steps, the chronology. But this needs to be addressed at a level higher. than
Yeah, yeah,
that. It
exactly.
needs to be addressed by chairman here, or Mr. Hatcher, or the lawyers for the county. It's at a level where one day of trucks going in there it does thousands of dollars of damage,
Yeah.
cost and additional repairs now.
So can we not request to have a meeting with the Forest Service
Oh, yes, they will accept you.
and discuss what we expect from them, and then go from there to, if we don't meet eye to eye, then proceed?
File direct claims through the Forestry Service administrative processes.
What the
Yeah,
Forest
there's
Service,
an administrative process to go
Right.
through. What I'm saying, ultimately, if they don't meet what you think is required to
Right.
fix it, your only
Right.
alternative is a litigation in a federal court,
Right.
because it's a federal agency.
well, they're notorious for being real forthcoming. Yeah, we'll have a meeting. And I've seen it happen too many times, where you get sat down with them, and their answer's always, I can't answer that, I have to get somebody else to. You know, that, we've been through that with them. You know, like, why did we meet?
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
We got a different
that's
man.
above my pay
We
grade.
got a
They
different
send
man
it.
now.
Well, they send a peon.
Well, I think we need to at least start there.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying, when they
Instead of just
drive
getting them
people.
all at one time.
Yeah, and like Denny said, we need to,
We need to write people.
we need to
Right.
get it, we need to get it stopped before the next
Right.
bunch sets in.
Oh, absolutely.
Commissioners, you say the first project is completed. Commissioner Brooks, they said the first project was completed.
Yeah, and
Which road was that?
the middle one, you know, out there, we call it the turkey foot, you know, past the YMCA camp, you know, where all the roads split. You know, the middle one that goes around by those cabins,
Yeah.
they just got it done, and they're gonna do the,
225?
yeah, and then
Alright.
they're gonna do the lake road next, you know, it goes out to the Boy Scout camp, around the lake. It's next, and it's just as long as the one they done, so it's gonna be the same amount of trucks. And like, you know, Ben said 100 trucks, well, that's really 200, one trip in, one trip out. I mean, they're a little lighter coming out, but still. You know, it's, I've got the pictures that Brian Davis sent me, you know, Brian, you know, it was unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they tore it all to
yeah.
pieces. And you see it too, I mean, you live
Well, I
there.
built a fence along the road in April, it was a quarter of a mile, and I had to have one person do nothing but stand on the edge of the road.
Yeah.
Just for the safety of the other two people that were working on it.
So who's gonna reach out to get the right people in the right places?
Well, I think that's a great idea, as long as more damage is not being done.
Right, well, I mean, the sooner we can do it, the better.
Yeah. Well,
Obviously.
is that something that, I mean, I'm the chairman of the road committee, but is that something that our chair needs to do, Robbie needs to do? I don't know what formation this
I'll make the
needs.
contact with the Forestry Service to set up the meeting and tell them the complaints that we've got. Denny's figures, I would rely on his figures as to what he believes the costs are and what some of you have said.
Well, and Roy Jean would definitely need to be here, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll get him involved with
Yeah.
that meeting. And that's, when
Okay.
you're dealing with the Forestry Service, there's all kinds of protections.
You got
Identification.
all kinds of things. They might could insist that the contractors use trucks that don't have tandems, even if they have to make more trips, and they eat the cost.
Yeah.
There's one way they can take some stress off the road. I mean, they're probably doing it, so they can make.
Well, like everybody, what tires you up is like I said, you go on a Forest Service road and you spin a gravel, and they're ready to throw you in jail. And, but boy, when it's in reverse, it's fine and dandy.
Right.
I mean, it's sickening. It really is. I mean, it's, you know, it's, I don't know. And, you know, they own over half of us, and they don't want to pay us nothing anyway. And then they don't want to keep up their end of the, you know, what literally should be paying us
Well,
for damages. And
I have a personal opinion about all that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying it. Forest Service belongs to all the people of the United States. The United States of America owns the Forest Service. The people of the United States own it. But the people who live in Polk County It's our landscape. It's not the landscape of all the people of the United States. It's our landscape.
Right.
We affect it going through it every day, and it affects us as we go through it every day.
Yeah.
But the Forest Service does not take into consideration, it's our landscape. They just treat it as though we're some kind of endangered species that they gotta put up with while they administer it in
Yeah.
the entire country.
Well, and to me, they act like
need
that
to
they jump
learn
off
when
of,
they close a campground and don't give adequate notice.
Yeah.
Somebody in New York doesn't care, but people who live in Polk County do care.
yeah.
There's a big
They
difference.
treat it to
between
me like you
landscape.
jump off an interstate and you're on Forest Service land. They don't treat it like they drive through us to get there. You know.
I'm here because this is the only issue in 40 years where I've lived there that my neighbors have come to me and asked me to come to a county commission meeting and complain about what is happening to them. In 40 years, this is the only issue, and they are right. They need to pay to fix it, and they should not be doing it until arrangements are made to take care of that other lot.
Well, if we vote in this Powers Act, we're just talking about, could we put that on?
You can't regulate the federal service.
I knew the answer to that.
Good try, Danny.
Nice,
Good try.
nice try.
Nice try,
Nice
Danny.
try.
But you can shut down loud music in my neighbor's cabin. Okay, I see it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll talk with Philip in the morning. I was messaging her tomorrow, and I was messaging him about this. And I'll pass it on to Mr. Logan and Chandler.
Debbie, would you care to meet with them, Ben?
No,
And
yeah.
maybe get Roy Jean and
yeah,
when they get a meeting set up.
yeah, we'll get it. When everything gets lined up, Robbie, let me know.
No problem.
We'll get together,
No
everything.
problem. And in that way, I mean, because I know Mr. Logan and Chandler don't have Philip's number, but that was one of the things, when you asked that and looked this way, I thought, well, okay, so I went ahead and messaged Philip.
All righty, sounds good.
And just one other thing on that, not really appropriate time, but I thought it's funny. I just got a letter from the Forest Service informing me my property on Baker's Creek will be shut down coming up because they're looking at some new applications on races going through there between now and 2026.
And we're also looking at potentially doing away with these national forests and all of those things.
What's that?
I didn't get into it, but there are people who believe that we need to sell a lot of our national forest properties.
That come up before, a few years ago. too.
Yeah. But it does come up loud and clear. Present.
Okay.
It's out there.
Resolution to discharge surplus property, Sheriff's Department, County Executive Action.
This will be resolution 5-1, is that correct, sir?
2.
5-2, I'm sorry, 5-2, I forgot the other. Resolution to discharge surplus property, whereas the following listed property has fulfilled its intended usage and longevity and service of the County of Polk, State of Tennessee, and its continued usage has become suspect, the expected outcome with such property being as follows: a 2020 Dodge Charger, a 2014 Dodge Durango, and a 2012 Ford Escape. Now therefore, be it resolved, this Polk County Commission meeting in, will be irregular session, this, the 22nd day of May 2025, pursuant to the TCA Code 5-14-108, 1 and 2, and any other law of the state of Tennessee that preceding the property which are hereby deemed to be unusable and or surplus by the Polk County Commission, with such being made at a legal sale qualified under Chapter 5 of the Tennessee Code Antique and any other applicable law of the state of Tennessee. This resolution shall become effective in the passage in the public welfare requiring it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Who's second? Motion.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan. Yes. John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Resolution to discharge surplus property fire truck, County Executive Action.
Be resolution 5-3-25, resolution to discharge surplus property, whereas the following listed property has fulfilled its intended usage and longevity and service to the county of Polk, and its continued usage should become suspect to the expected outcome, with such property being included in the pages one following. Now therefore be it resolved by the Polk County Commission meeting in irregular session on this, the 22nd day of May, 2025, pursuant to the TCA code 5-14-108, 1 and 2, and any other law of the state of Tennessee, that the county executive is hereby authorized to sell or disperse of in part or a whole the following properties which are hereby deemed to be unusable and or surplus by the Polk County Commission for such being made legal sale or discharge qualified under the Chapter 5 Tennessee Code Annotated or any other applicable law or the allowance of the state of Tennessee for disbursement of surplus, damaged, and unused property. This is a 1988 E1 fire engine with a 500-gallon tank. This is the truck that was property of Copper Hill, the city of Copper Hill. The city of Copper Hill has sold it to the Copper Basin Fire and Rescue. Copper Basin Fire and Rescue seeks to put this up into the Gov Deals auction.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden. Yes. Kelly Morgan. Yes. John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Building and grounds recommendation, Commissioner John Fisher.
Want to send that over to Commissioner Debbie Davis.
We Building and Grounds Committee where we brought it up, that, okay, about, giving the Fire Association, approval. This costs us nothing, it's not money. Just approval if they do get the money to get them a little building to store their tables and banners and things that they use for the fire every year. To try to find them a spot at the edge of the woods or somewhere that is suitable with going through Greg Paxton with 4-H and FFA, you know, and our either Building and Grounds Committee or whatever. We just needed to get a full vote from the commission to move forward with giving them permission for a designated spot that will be picked by the commissioners here in either First District and get with Greg or get with Buildings and Grounds, whoever wants to glorify that. But we just need to give them a vote to where they're able to go forward with it if they get the money. And we get a building site then picked out, or not a building site, but a park. And this building will always be movable. You know, it's like an Amish mini barn, you know, or whatever. It will always, it's not nothing permanent. So.
And I did check with Soil and Water. I know that kind of came up. They are in the process of going after for their building. They do have a $5,000 grant. So I know that, I think it was John brought it up that night when we was in that meeting, but they are still moving forward with theirs.
Okay.
I make the motion to approve the Fire Association to put a movable building no more than 12 by 24 foot. Is that what we said that night, didn't we?
Yeah,
Not
it
to
was.
exceed 12 by 24 foot. It can be moved within a 90-day notice from the county off the location. And allow them to have a location at around the show barn on the property out there, on the property that's not Parks and Rec, with approval from Paxton and the Buildings and Grounds Committee as far as location. So they'd have to move the 90 days if they got notice that it needs moved, and it can't be over 12 by 24, and Paxton and the Buildings and Grounds Committee have to okay the location. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, I make.
That's my motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Ms. Rogers, I will send out a notation on that motion to you, so you got it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, one more recommendation from the Building and Grounds Committee meeting that we had. we've been dealing with some title issues on the old courthouse and the new site for the new courthouse in the 3rd District. And we've been dealing with those issues for quite some time now, and it needs to be cleared up because we can't sell the old courthouse and we can't build a new one until it's done. So it was the recommendation of the Building and Grounds Committee meeting to hire Logan Thompson. I have a resolution I'm gonna read on it here, to get these issues cleared up so we can move forward. Because we can't do anything without that cleared up.
That's where it all starts, really.
Right. So,
Ground zero.
Resolution 5425, whereas the law firm of Logan Thompson PC is employed by resolution to handle litigation matters on behalf of Polk County, and whereas the land held by Polk County where the old Ducktown Law Court is located and the land held by Polk County for the new proposed Ducktown Law Court may have title issues which may require litigation to resolve. Whereas Polk County is required to have a Ducktown Law Court, and whereas the potential title issues relating to the land held by Polk County for the old and new proposed Ducktown Law Court must be resolved if they exist. There may be a request for proposals issued for the building of the new Ducktown Law Court, and there must be a contract prepared between the selected bidder and Polk County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the county legislative body of Polk County meeting in irregular session at Benton, Tennessee on 22nd day of May 2025 that Section 1, the law firm of Logan Thompson PC is employed by Polk County to resolve the potential title issues for the land held by Polk County for the old Ducktown Law Court and the land held by Polk County for the new proposed Ducktown Law Court, to handle the request for proposals for the construction of the new Ducktown Law Court, and to handle any necessary contracts relating to the construction of the new Ducktown Law Court. Section 2, this resolution shall be effective upon its passage and approval. Passed by a majority vote of the County Commissioners of Polk County this the 22nd day of May 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's implicit within this, but I want to make it explicitly certain that you understand that we anticipate immediately giving notice to everybody in the world to the extent that we can identify those individuals. And certainly there are 3 corporations which have disbanded, to which there could be a devolution of that, and that will require us to file a lawsuit. And I think that that's inherent within this, but I wanted to make sure that you understood that we'll be filing that very quickly.
Yes.
In case you can't track down the end.
Yes.
Okay.
That's,
Got you.
that's correct.
You want to go ahead and start that process now, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say again, this has went on long enough. This has to be resolved before we can proceed. So, any other discussion? Roll call.
Keith Parker.
Yes.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Danny Carver.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
Yes.
Christie Harden.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
And Samantha Trent.
Yes.
Let's get this library board.
Okay, library appointment. This is actually dealing with the minutes of the library appointment. I believe that was from the March meeting. We have voted on this twice with the same result. So I'm just gonna open it back up for discussion to see if there are any new ideas on that.
We did agree to take no more applications.
No, you got to deal with this first.
I don't know, I don't know.
We did say we had to deal with this before we could take
I
applications.
think that's right.
So it has to be voted down in order for us to take new applications?
I'm not sure about that. I know the minutes have not been approved for the library appointment.
Yeah. So we're talking about approving or disapproving to accept or not accept the minutes.
We've already voted on that twice.
Yeah.
with the same result.
Anybody gonna change the way they vote?
No.
That's gonna be, it's gonna be a continuing thing. Like, I don't wanna say my piece, and it is what it is. When every one of those library board members are here and they say they did not have an issue with him, I don't know why we're trying to I don't know why we're trying to fight them. So, every one of them came to the last meeting, they agreed with what he said. That's who they wanna serve with. I don't understand the issue. We ain't handing over the checkbook to the county. It's a library board appointment. We voted to begin with, it passed, and that was it. That's my piece. So I guess we need to vote again, and then it not pass, and we just keep putting it off.
By that
Because
time,
that's-
he'll be ready for it.
So,
It'll be up again.
so it'll be up again. So I could understand if one of them had an issue, they did not have an issue. The only one that wasn't at the meeting was Jackie. You could care less either way. They spoke. Not too sad.
Well, I made my statement. I voted for the lady. When her name come up, I voted for her. She didn't get it. His name come up. I don't know him. If he walks in this room tomorrow, I don't know him. I voted for him because she didn't get it, so I voted for him. Just kinda, and that's because I didn't care, because I didn't know either one of them. I think they're both, anybody that's willing to serve on that board, I think have got good intentions. That's what I made my statement that night. I said, I feel like that both of these people, they were good people to want to serve. And so one didn't get it, one did get it, and
I think you go back to, you said that once we start doing this, you set the precedent.
Yeah, I mean,
anytime any of
that's-
us disagree with whoever's being.
that's
going to
my
vote to
biggest
not
concern
accept
is that if there's a disagreement, this is gonna open up that can of worms. That's my only concern, because I just,
How long is the appointment? I can't even remember. Is it 2 years, 1 year, 2 years?
I don't even know.
You remember?
I'm on there, I don't even know, to be honest.
Well, it's not forever, so.
I mean, what's your take on that, Mr. Logan, if you don't mind us asking?
Was
That
correct?
whenever you don't approve minutes, when you disagree with a vote that has took place, do you feel like, or is that's just, because, I'm very opinionated, so, do you feel like that we could futuristic have issues with that, or is that just my opinion?
The expressions that I heard when we discussed this in some detail, and then passed it on to the next meeting, and then the next meeting, I think, after that, is this the third or fourth meeting?
This has been going on since February.
Yeah.
Yes. It was raised by, of course, news media and the other people who kept up with those things. And it did appear that the individual who was named, according to some of what was here previously, those people said they didn't approve. And so I don't.
What?
That's actually
What?
They were all at our meeting.
They were
in
all at our
Dutton.
meeting last month.
last month, and I was
Yes.
not here.
Yeah,
And
so
they didn't have a
they
problem.
did not
They
have, they
also
agreed.
didn't have a letter. They didn't really vote on it. I mean, they said they didn't told us.
Well, they say
But they
that's
were
not a
so
vote,
happy.
they
Yeah.
don't
They don't
vote.
have to vote.
Yeah.
And they were
But they-
there telling us they didn't have a problem. And
The
that's-
library board don't
Yeah.
have to vote on that person. We just get a nomination and then we
Well, I'm
vote
gonna
on
tell you,
it.
they're not standing in line to be on the library No. board.
I
I'm
remember
just gonna
when we
throw
had
that out
like
there.
10
Yeah.
or 12 members on the
Yeah,
library board.
right, I
They had
mean,
authority for 7.
And that's why I said, they were lucky to have two people that was wanting it, and I'm sure there's nothing against, I mean, with me, there's nothing against either one of them, because I don't even know either one of
I
them.
just don't know why we're not on that board. Why are we trying to tell them who they can or cannot serve with? If they want to serve with him, that is their right
Yeah,
to serve
I
with
just
him.
wish, that they
Because there
didn't
won't
come
be
before
anybody
us.
Nobody
standing
can
in
tell
line
me
next
who
time.
said
Yeah.
no,
If we
that
act
they
like
didn't
this.
want them. None of them stood
Well,
up
when
and
mine's
said
up,
it.
I won't be back on it.
Yeah.
Somebody can have my spot.
It's a library board.
I don't have time for it.
Yeah. So I mean,
So it's gonna
I
be on there
don't,
next
I
month.
don't,
Just put it on there next month. So are we tabling it again?
I tabled it once already.
So, there we go.
but like I
We
said,
sit around and stare at each other.
Mr.
No,
Logan,
understood
my
that.
worry is
Yeah.
will this, regardless of who was right and who was wrong, about if it was handled correctly or incorrectly, if we don't agree on stuff, do you feel like this can open us up a can of worms for future issues?
I think it's a gray area, my personal.
I mean, you know,
Depending on who
We have-
interprets it.
Right.
So we need to do something about it.
by the other agency regarding that person's conduct in obtaining the position that they had. I think that's a given, or at least that was what I read in
Yeah,
the
I think-
newspaper and was essentially.
I think
agreed
there's
with.
other stuff involved, and I'm not gonna sit here and talk bad about somebody when they're not here. So, it was all, it's been paid, there's no issue. I don't understand what the problem is. I think that's a clear overstep, and I said what I said. So, vote to do it, vote to not do it, and then we need to move on, because this is gonna be every month.
I think I got a compromise.
You ain't got,
In the name of putting this to rest, I make a motion to dissolve the libraries.
Yeah.
hey, what about
No,
if
we
we put
do
one
need
of them
to-
on for 6 months and the other one on for 6
we
months?
do.
Kind of like joint custody.
There you go.
Need to
There you
do
go.
Yeah, can we do that?
They like
When you
50-50
don't appoint them,
custody of a
that's-
kid.
Right, that goes on all the time.
Like you
Sarah
one
took her
month,
name
you know.
off.
Do what now?
She took her name off. She
Oh.
don't even want it anymore.
Okay.
Then what are we doing?
So
Then let's
then,
just get it
do
over
we
with.
vote to pass, see if he gets nominated then?
No, we already done
No, we've
that.
already
I
done
know
that.
we've done
We
it,
just-
or
we
to
just-
approve the
We just
minutes.
need to approve the minutes. I mean, if
Right.
that one's taking her name off, let's be done with it.
Well, yeah.
So,
So we're gonna vote to approve the minutes? If it don't pass, then
Yeah,
I
let's
guess
just
we
do
just
it.
keep talking about it until time goes
I make a
by.
motion, we approve the minutes from March.
second.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Keith Barker.
No.
Greg Brooks.
Pass.
Oh, I thought you were compromising.
Danny
That
Carver,
is a compromise.
Okay.
That's something, that's got a little
Debbie
something
Davis.
from both sides.
Yes.
Mush Davis.
No.
So it's the same.
It's the
Christie
same.
Harden.
Yes.
Yes.
Kelly Morgan, John Pippinger,
I
I fell
like
asleep,
doing
whatever,
this.
which one's what.
He's gonna recuse himself, he's on the beer
Yes.
board.
You know, beer bowl.
are you
They
going to
drank right after the
vote
library.
to
Yes,
pass
they drank during the library board meeting.
Samantha Franklin? 1, 2, 3, no's.
Yep, right there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, and 1 pass.
So I guess we just keep talking about it.
So we
See you
just-
next month.
See you next month.
Well, I think this is a good way to handle it. Nobody gets it. That's
Listen,
just,
if we keep doing,
Yeah.
he is going to the meetings, y'all know
Yeah.
this, right? He is going to the meetings.
What?
He is going to the meetings. Just y'all, so y'all know that, okay?
When he gets logged up.
By the time we get done, then he'll,
He'll have his year in.
yeah, that's
At
right.
least.
Ryan?
and my minutes are good,
A question
by the way.
on the nuisance
Auditors told me.
Oh, okay.
Two questions. Is passing by 2/3 majority, is that of the total commission or the commissioners present?
Total commission.
Okay, and the second question is, down the road in the next commission, if someone votes to outlaw chicken houses, then the commission after that, can they reverse it?
That would require zoning.
We're not doing
If-
zoning.
If we don't, if you, it's a nuisance to smell the chicken houses. Okay, let's say mining. So it's a nuisance to listen to the mining, and you outlaw that, next commission, and then the commission after that decides, well, it's a boom to do this crypto mining, we're gonna get rich and we want it now. Can you reverse what is a nuisance?
I would say so, because
If we got the.
just like zoning and planning commission, you know, they're always, cities and counties are always reversing decisions from new boards and stuff.
Correct.
That's generally correct. The fact is that when we talk about the crypto mining issue, which would be available to give us the details, that specific power that we would have, and I know that there are people who don't like for the government to have power. Guess what? We do too. And I think that that's absolutely correct. We do it through this exercise. I hope that everyone has a wonderful holiday. Back to Visco.
Thank you.
Okay, announcements and statements. Our next commission meeting will be June 24th instead of the 26th. There was a conflict with the 26th, so June 24th. That will be in Ducktown.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
June
24th.
That's what I got confused about,
Yeah,
John.
that's right.
Guys, I do have an update on my office up there.
Good. I was gonna ask you.
Yes. We are going to, I'm waiting on some more computer stuff to get out there, but June the 2nd is when we're opening for business. And also, the driver's license kiosk. The driver's license people came last week, looked at the spot to see where we could put it and everything, agreed that it would work. So it would probably be middle of July, end of June when we get our kiosk. So,
Good.
and my employee, she's ready.
I know a
so she
lot
don't
of
have to
people
drive
been
down the
glad to
road.
hear that.
For real.
Oh, yeah.
Any other commissioners have any?
We have a budget meeting on the 3rd, 6:30.
On the 3rd?
Yep.
So now, yeah, I've written it down much, I'm sorry. So the only office that'll be open to the center then is Jackson's office. I'd actually messaged Tristan as well while we were sitting here. Our doors, the lovely fabulous doors and jams are still on back order. We are awaiting those to come. I know that's been one of those things and it just keeps progressing, but everything else in the community center itself is done except for the doors. But we can't put a lot of the health department stuff in because of sensitive materials without being able to lock that out. So that's the only holdup. Ben has actually been working, so just in case you're wondering, but we've been working on getting all the ductwork, the HVAC units cleaned up because after we've had all this dust and everything that's going on, but it is also looking like we're gonna have to replace one, if not two of those units. So now if you think back to whenever I talked a couple months ago about there was a possibility of new air handling units that was coming in, and that all got shut down because of everything that came in with the new administration and those. So that's gone. So we're not gonna be able to get our air handling changed out on the state side with the monies that they were looking at. But Jackie's office will be open then. Other thing real quick, on the 27th, there's a meeting with the Forest Service at 6 o'clock p.m. at the high school. This is in conjunction with the time allotted for public comment with the rally race. There's nothing that we can do as a county, I get that, but this is an opportunity for the residents of this county to be able to come and voice their opinion. I will be hosting the meeting. So it's not actually Forest Service, it's myself as county executive giving the residents an opportunity to come. There will be a time for everybody to talk. If any of the commissioners that can come, I'd appreciate a little help. We'll try to put all their questions together, so that way we're not getting the same question over and over and over, but everybody will have an opportunity at that. Also on Monday, with Memorial Day, all county buildings and dumps are closed. So if you need to get to the dump between now and Monday, you got a couple of days left. But there will be our service here at the courthouse on Monday, put on by our veterans.
What time is it?
It's at 11, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mr. Woody? It'll be 11 o'clock here at the courthouse. So do remember that.
Any other announcements?
One thing, and I talked to you the other day, Keith, Mr. Chairman, You are chairman of the ambulance committee, and I have been
Did you send
notified.
me- did you send me that email?
I'm sending you an email in writing tomorrow. I needed to get a couple of dates, but I do have a request to review the service that we'll get from the ambulance service, and specifically dealing with the number of times we are with 3 ambulances and at level 0.
Okay. I'm planning to schedule a committee meeting on that the first week in June, seeing as how Monday's Memorial Day, it'll be the first week in June, probably the 5th. Anybody on the committee have a problem with the 5th?
I'm on it, so.
Okay. If we can get, I think it's Jason, right?
Yes, sir.
If he's available on the 5th, will you let me know? And we'll try to set that June 5th at 6:30 or 7, 7:01. It's fine.
That will be at the community center.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
would like to make a quick statement and a kind of a statement and a question.
Okay.
Summertime's hit, and of course, all the river is, flowing, and the rafting has started and all this. And I've had about 5 or 6 phone calls the last few days, and anyway, just curious people, and so it always brings up my curiosity every year at budget time and then at summertime as to why that this river has been selected as non-navigable, that knocks us out, or navigable.
I'll tell you why, they just walked out the door about 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring it up while they were here, but what is it that we need to do as a group of commissioners and when you bring this up, you get bad reviews from people, which I don't care. But everybody's got to understand, this is nothing against the rafting companies. I want them, if they can make millions, I'm for it. It's nothing. But for all of these people not to pay one dime directly to the county makes you sick at your stomach. When we're providing ambulance, trash, police for all these people. So, and the river is our biggest asset. That's what everybody yells, tourism. And I'm good with it, I'm fine. But I don't understand why that this, after all these years, cannot be put back through the court system or the legislative branch of us in our state and see if it can be changed.
I think it warrants a conversation with the attorney.
Yeah.
County
I
attorney.
think that's a Dan.
But there's no
And
point.
And a representative, because you can't do one without having the support of the other.
But I totally agree. And Ryan is here. And Ryan, I would love, because I want to make this clear. I ain't after you. I'm not after your buddies down the road. I want you to get filthy rich if you possibly can. But why can we not get at least $2 or $3 a head off of these people?
Like I said, I think you're gonna have to start there first.
I want to, first of all, you said about navigable.
Yeah.
It's a federal definition, and it goes back to logging, and it's navigable if you can float logs down the river.
Yeah.
Is that insane?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
On that.
Well, and the thing about it is, there's so many laws that dates back.
Sure.
And now they are being, a lot of that stuff that is being turned around because of the time and because of the way that things were happening back then.
Well, since it's the old Coy River system, from the mouth of the river to Copper Hill, would it, number one dam not having a lock in it, would that not make it unnavigable?
It's the navigation is the ability to move logs downstream. So it's not navigable, that's a big word, if it's so shallow, like, I don't know, Towley Creek, let's say, you couldn't float logs to run a logging business down Towley Creek. It has to do with that. It doesn't mean navigable all the way to the
And it doesn't mean up and down the river. You don't have to be able to go back up
No,
it.
it's one way only downstream.
Yeah.
But back to another point, the customers on the Ocoee do pay 18 cents a head.
Yeah, we get,
I mean,
yeah.
You're getting some money.
Some.
You get a little.
Yeah,
I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure you understand.
yeah,
You're getting some money
I
from
know.
every
Yeah, I think it's what,
customer
30-something thousand? Yeah,
18 cents a head. for
Yeah.
every customer that
Right.
comes down the middle.
but,
But this is on a personal note from a business standpoint.
yeah,
Back when outfitters were paid $2 a head, $2.50 a head,
yeah,
the county chose to continue to take money from outfitters that were willing to pay and chose not to go after the outfitters. that
yeah, see,
weren't paying.
that's not right.
And that's
Yeah.
not
No,
fair.
it's gotta be straight across the
No,
board.
yeah,
And Ocoee Inn, my company was one. I was
I know,
expected to
yeah.
take in, we were paying.
Yeah.
But in July, when you're taking those numbers and you're writing a $10,000 check to the county,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money that somebody else
Is not paying.
It's not paying.
Competition, not paid.
Right.
So whatever's done has to be.
It has to be it's got to be, and like I have said 1,000 times, if your ticket is 50, 60, I don't even know what you charge, but if it's $60, then on top of that $60 is what I want. I want $3,
Well,
you know.
they all understand
I mean,
that.
yeah,
What
so,
he's saying.
right,
I think it's
but I want it
agreeance.
across the board.
Right.
It's gonna have to, it's not
Yes,
pick and choose
it's not
which one
pick and
pays,
choose.
it's everybody.
I don't
Yeah.
care if rafting company, Billy Bob collects money in Florida.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, they still pay. Everybody
Right.
Yeah.
pays.
Right, yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Ryan,
Because
can you
it's,
stand back
but
there
it's
for a second?
it's just not right that all of these outside people come in here and get to enjoy all of this, and they pay nothing to us.
Now, one notation, Ryan is on the board, the committee, the state committee,
Right.
correct? The river committee that was set up through the state of Tennessee board. And he has been our contact each year to get that money on 18 cents per head and has provided the numbers each year. And we do appreciate you doing that for us, because a lot of times if you didn't remember to do that, we wouldn't get it done.
Yeah,
So we do
exactly.
appreciate that.
Well, Ryan, and I'm not just saying this because he's standing right there, but they're about the cream of the crop, you know. I mean, they want to do good, and like he said, they paid when nobody else was paying.
Well, it never
and
should have been
yeah,
that you get the choice to
no,
pay.
no, and that is not no. Everybody does it or nobody does it.
Public comments or 2 minutes? I'll give
Sorry.
you, that's all right. You go ahead, you got 2 minutes.
Oh, thank you. Thought you were telling me, wait. Valerie with Copper Basin Fire and Rescue. First of all, I'd like to extend our appreciation to all of the commissioners. We have had some tremendous work done in all of our buildings. It is looking so much better, and it's so much safer for our volunteers. We are also having our annual celebration on May 31st. I believe you were invited last month, but I wanted to make sure you have some paperwork. During that celebration, we would like to formally appreciate the commissioners, and we'll be doing a little unveiling of our new sign and everything. So we would like some representation there, if I could get you guys to do that, please.
Okay.
So, thank you so very much.
There will be a dunking booth.
Thank you.
We expect one of you in it.
Oh, yes. Bring your clothes to get wet.
Especially if it's hot.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, lots of fun. Bring the kids.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Is there a motion?
Motion adjourned.
Darn, second, 30.
My phone has never run so much.